Hola, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Throne, your quick guide to the South American rosters for the DPC 2018 and 2019 season. So, today's team that we're going to be looking at is mostly Brazilian with a sprinkling of Argentinian. It's going to be Astini777, also known as Sanga 777. So, this team was actually a stack that was thrown together at the last minute. In fact, Tekla 8 joined the team, I think, 3 minutes before they actually had to have everyone available because they could not find their original position 1 player. So hats off for Tekla for standing up to the plate here. So let's talk about each of these players, right? So Tekla, not super commonly known, actually an Argentinian player, like we said, but is formerly played on one of the few Argentinian teams in Dota 2 called Volter. He actually played the position 4 or 5 in the past, trading off with, I believe the player's name was Zurdo. But stepping up to the plate here and taking on the, very farm-heavy role of position 1, he did a great job during the open quals. So definitely feeling confident, I have a feeling, as he goes forward into the main regionals. In the position 2, we have Murdock. Murdock is a veteran of the Brazilian scene, played incredibly well during the Kuala Lumpur Open qualifiers, was very, very solid, had a good understanding of when it was time to farm, when it was time to move, and engaged in a lot of these team fights. Definitely made quite a bit of space. So not super used to seeing Murdock, I think, in the mid lane. So keep your eye on him. This is definitely a player that seems to be very stable in terms of performance. So we'll have to see how that goes going further. Position 3 is Dashka. So fun story about Dashka. I was watching I was actually casting the open qualifiers that Astini777 were going through, and they picked up an Earthshaker. And I think the first time they picked up the Earthshaker, it was run as a position 4, it was given to Hiko. But then in the next couple of games, they actually give it to Dashka. And I found out later on that they accidentally picked up the Earthshaker in one of those games. And Dashka just, was super chill, was like, give it to me. I got it. And the dunks that came out from this player, the Echo Slams, were just so good. They were so patient. They waited for like the perfect moment, not necessarily always getting, 4 people in an Echo Slam, but just making sure that, he had one other person nearby so they could always secure themselves a kill, or in giant team fights, just being so patient and finding that perfect opening. Hats off to Dashka. Not super familiar with this player in the off lane, but definitely looking forward to seeing more coming out from them, especially if that's what he can do with a hero that wasn't initially intended for him. Position 4 is Hiko. This is a very, very young Brazilian player. And he is just so incredibly talented. Right now, Tusk is definitely not in the meta, but if you give that hero to Hiko, you need to watch out. His snowballs, his saves are just so on point. He's very, very active with the hero and making sure that he makes early rotations and putting pressure down on the map, but that's not his only hero. Hiko is one of those players that actually really likes to do things a little bit differently. So while the rest of the world is playing things like, a position 4 Night Stalker or, something, I don't want to say common, but something expected, Hiko's busting out things like the Ursa position 4. He did that during the Kuala Lumpur Open qualifiers, and not only did they let him have it once, where he just ran over the other team, they let him have it twice. So if you are drafting against Hiko, you gotta expect the unexpected, because this kid will take heroes that you wouldn't even think about usually, especially in like a professional match, and he will absolutely make them work as a position 4 and run away with the game. And then last but not least, of course, is Duster. Duster has been gaining a huge fan base this past year as he played the position 5 on Pain Gaming. He's known as being an incredibly selfless position 5 player, often position 6 or 7 technically, right? Because he is always so poor. If there is any sort of a spell coming in where you have to split damage, Duster will step in right next to you. He'll take that damage. He'll block any sort of rolls coming out from an Earth Spirit or whatever. He will put his body in the way, even if it means that he's going to get taken down. Bowie and I do a lot of casting for the South American scene, and we kind of joke that Duster's a little bit of a hipster because we look at his items, and he almost always just has straight up basic brown boots. We saw him get a lot of money at one point, and he didn't upgrade his boots. He just went, he got himself an urn, he got some more wards, he got a dust. This guy, so selfless. And it's going to be really, really awesome to watch this team play because it's going to allow Hiko to be way more greedy. And again, Hiko plays more of these very interesting position fours that you might not necessarily think of, and a lot of them tend to go more on the greedier side. So if Duster isn't enabling him this way, this pairing is going to be scary to have to deal with in terms of support. So a little bit more fun trivia. So we actually have the name Sunga777 that they played under for a little bit. So for those of you that did not watch the open qualifiers, the banners for Astini777 are none other than the Midas CEO, Astini, and nothing but a Sunga, also known as a Speedo. Very distracting. Definitely loaded into the game, and like I had gotten a message, it was kind of like, wait till you see our banners, and I was like, oh god, what does that mean? Loaded into the game, and I saw a whole lot of Astini, like way more than I ever expected to see of him. But that's why the name Sunga is being used, and 777, of course, referring to like the jackpot that you get on a slot machine. He's known as the Moneymaker as a nickname, so that's where the name Sunga777 comes from. I heard that iMonster, who is the manager, or one of the managers for Midas, was like, hey, I think we should take down these banners. I don't think they're appropriate or whatever. And Astini was like, no, man, we got to leave them up. We got to leave them up. So SOS, save our Sunga. That is kind of the inside joke with this particular team. So I hope you guys enjoyed this next installment of The Throne. If you liked it, make sure that, you throw me a like, a follow, a subscribe, or whatever. I know the video quality is not fantastic. I am really terrible at stuff like this, but I did want to make some videos kind of telling, especially the English-speaking audience, about some of these up-and-coming talents to be watched in the South American scene, and just to build some hype in general. So, again, thank you so much for watching. Your queen's out. I'll see you around.